Hey guys, today I'm super excited because I am coming to you live from Alaska. I am multitasking. We are fishing for salmon. And I figured, you know what, this is actually the perfect time to record a video about how to get followers on Instagram in 2019. I should probably stop yelling because the fish might hear me.
My name is Rachel Pedersen with strategies so deadly they should be a carcinogen. And I'm always laser focused with my messaging. Have you coming back for more through my retargeting?
Before we start this video, I want to first and foremost ask you to do me a huge favor. Actually, it's not a favor for me. This is a favor for you, boo-boo. I want you to go into the comments and share with me your Instagram handle, and then head on over to my Instagram account and give me a follow so you can watch each of these things in action. So drop your Instagram. So number one, drop your Instagram handle in the comments below. And number two, head on over to my Instagram and give me a follow so you can watch exactly what I am doing, because I walk the walk, baby. Okay, so what I want to share with you guys is how to grow your Instagram without paying for super likes, without doing some kind of crazy like bot. I don't believe in automation for Instagram. I don't think that is actually a great way to grow. Why? Because I've tested it. I've tried everything. And I've had really crazy and some tragic results from that. In fact, I hired someone who's specialized in super growth. Okay, so we aren't gonna be holding anything back, because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like, I would love nothing more than for you to comment and be like, I grew from 0 to 5,000. I grew by 100 followers, over the last couple days. I grew by 50 followers per day. That would be awesome and wonderful. Or even more. You might do better than I do. That's awesome. So the very first thing that you want to understand about growing organically on Facebook in 2019 is that it is a little by little process. Most people want to see massive gains overnight, but the thing about growing on Instagram is that it's a couple of followers at a time. And that can feel really painful. And so many people are like, oh, but I want the big push. I want massive followers. I want tons of comments. But it's kind of like that old parable in the Bible, to be honest. Faithful with a little, faithful with a lot. If you're faithful with one coin, with one follower, with one like, with one comment, you are going to get more. That is just how it works. So here's the problem, is most people are not paying attention to the one follower they have now, the 27 followers they have now, that one comment on their Instagram. And I'm just gonna be honest with you guys, if you are not currently replying to the comments you have now, today, on your Instagram, if you are not engaging with the people who are following you now, you do not deserve more. And I know that that's a little bit harsh, but it was a tough lesson I had to learn about being faithful with a little so that I could be entrusted with a lot. You need to care about every single follower. It's about little gains and little bits of relationship built. And so that's tough love coming to you. And I know most people don't say that, but I'm just gonna be honest. If you do not reply to the messages of the people who are currently talking to you, if you do not reply to comments of the people who are currently commenting on your stuff, you got no business trying to grow your Instagram. So focus there first and foremost. Instagram tip number 2 for growing from 0 to 5,000, heck, for growing from 0 to 10,000 organically in 2019 on Instagram. We all enjoy Instagram stories. If you are not currently doing them, side note, make sure that you do them. I like to do anywhere from 3 to 20 per day. It increases your exposure. It builds a relationship with your followers. But if you are currently doing stories on Instagram, this is for you. And if not, get on it. All right, your Instagram highlights. This is an opportunity for you to tell a story. So for example, you can bet that all of my stories from Alaska are going to be put into a highlight, a story highlight on my profile. And I'll show you exactly what that looks like here. So basically you are going to go to the stories, you are going to select add to highlight. From there you are going to select a cover, name the highlight. I like to do stories. So, for example, one might be Christmas, or another might be trip to Alaska, my 30th birthday, that kind of thing. Allow your followers to fall in love with you from the highlights of your stories. Allow them to enjoy those experiences with you. Instagram tip number 3. The masters of this process, not just on Instagram but in life, are none other than the Kardashians.
Wow.
They change things up all the time. As soon as you become comfortable with a hair color, they switch it up. As soon as you love their new, their new digs, whatever, they're like, I'm gonna change it. One of the things that they are so good at is keeping you on your toes, always wondering what's gonna happen, what's gonna come next, what are their faces gonna look like tomorrow. I don't know. Just because something has always worked for you on Instagram does not mean you want to keep it the same for years and years on end. In fact, if you look at logos of the most famous companies, Coca-Cola, Apple, Disney, their logos have these beautiful slight evolutions over the years, as did the feeling of their cartoons and the look of their merchandise. The reason that's so important is because in order to stay relevant, in order to grow your following on Instagram in 2019, you have to be committed to switching things up a little bit. It doesn't mean tomorrow you have to go out and pierce your septum and wear a red wig. It means maybe it's time for you to try a new style or use a different font or a different color in your layout. It's that simple. Instagram tip number 4. Search for hashtags, and I like to do a combination of short form hashtags and long form. Look at this, my husband's catching a fish while we're recording a video. So you're gonna search for hashtags, and I want you to think of hashtags as like the high school versus the table of people. So let's say you want to be overall well liked or well known in high school. Think back to your high school days. You would never say, I want everyone in the whole high school to like me, because that feels like it's absolutely impossible, and it'd be like, where do I even start? When we're in high school, we usually focus on one friend group at a time, right? Like, this is my friend group, this is the table I sit at, maybe it's the jocks, the goths, the homeschoolers, the former homeschoolers, whatever, it doesn't matter. But you want to, first and foremost, start with that one table. It's kind of like a niche. I want you to think of hashtags as like a smaller pond. So if Instagram is this massive ocean, which it really is, hashtags are a way to find the ponds where you can grow before you get thrown into the ocean. Because just like we are currently using bait, small, tiny little fish do not do that well in the ocean. And neither will you on Instagram. You want to grow to a decent size before you're thrown into the ocean. So you're gonna wanna mix up a combination of smaller hashtags, meaning less people use them, with bigger hashtags. And that combination is really powerful because the smaller niche down hashtags help you to be found more by people who are more likely to engage with you. And if you're struggling with finding the right hashtags, start to get into the brain of the person you want to interact with your Instagram. What are they thinking about? What are they talking about? Are they a blogger? Are they a mom blogger? Are they a travel blogger? Are they somebody that really enjoys Photoshop? Really start to think and honestly do some research about the people you want to follow you, so that way you know without a shadow of a doubt what hashtags they're using. Okay, this one's pretty big. Optimizing your Instagram bio. This is something most people do not do, and I could go into depth on this, but I actually put together a sick freebie, so you can check it out in the link in the bio beneath this video. We've actually put together an entire kind of how-to guide on how to optimize not just Instagram, but all of your social media platforms to maximize the results that you want to get. So you don't have to watch this video for that. Just go ahead and opt in. It's totally free to you, and it'll arrive in your inbox in 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to share something pretty crazy with you. So emotion is absolutely key on Instagram. Just this past week, I did a post on Instagram talking about what it's like having a mom body, what it's like discovering that my body is never going to be perfect again. It's full of stretch marks, it's got loose skin. Like, that's just a part of my life now if I don't want to spend $100,000 with a plastic surgeon. And that's a pretty raw post. I'm not going to lie, it was pretty intense writing it and experiencing it and recognizing that other people were gonna read this post. But the thing about Instagram is it really calls for emotion. People don't always want this perfect, life is great, cheers to the weekend attitude. They actually want to connect. And when you put yourself out there in a space of kind of authenticity, it means a lot to people. Now, where do I draw the line between like authenticity, vulnerability, being raw, and like just like spilling your guts and being the oversharer? I will say that one of the best things you can do is not share emotional situations in the heat of the moment. Write it down, take some time, think about it, make sure that it feels right. Maybe have a friend or your spouse read it to make sure that you're not like, about all of your feelings. It can be really helpful too, so that you don't accidentally say something that is a little bit scary or might bite you in the butt later on. And my favorite Instagram tip/hack, okay, let's be real, there's no such thing as a hack. There is no easy button. You have to do the work. I'll preach that until the day I die. There is no easy button. When you see easy button, I want you to think delayed ejection, meaning you're out of here in just a couple of minutes. Your time is going to be up. We don't need easy. We need longevity. And my favorite tip for Instagram is my 5x5x5 method. One of my favorite things to do is to actually select my top hashtags, and I'm going to pick 5 of them. We start with 1, and I'm going to choose the 5 top photos. Now here is where this is different from Gary Vee's $80 strategy, and I actually prefer this better for those of us who are not celebrities or who are not super famous yet. Instead of directly engaging with the 5 people whose pictures show up in the top 5, instead I'm going to go to 5 of their commenters. The reason for that is if you want a hyper engaged audience, one of the best ways to do that is to find people who are similar to you and discover who is hyper engaging with their content and bring them in to find yours. So there are 5 things that I like to do with those 5 hyper engaged audiences.
Wow.
Number 1, I comment on one of their pictures. Number 2, I send them a message. Number 3, I like several of their photos. You might choose 5. It's kind of a lucky number here. Number 4, I'll respond to their messages if I see that they've messaged me before. And number 5, I will watch their stories. This is so important. The 5x5x5 is really powerful because it doesn't just try to target massive influencers. Instead, it brings you a hyper engaged audience of people who engage with influencers. All right, we got some fish to catch. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends. Let's have just a party over here on my YouTube channel. I will catch you guys in the next video. Oh, and by the way, don't forget that link in the bio. I shared with you guys my favorite ways, my ultimate guide to optimizing all your bios on social media directly from me, the queen of social media in Alaska. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.